Hello, this is Johnnetta. I'm the owner of Imaracosmeticz. I wanted to kind of give like a reintroduction of myself for those of you that don't know me, that are new followers. So, as I stated, my name is Johnnetta, and I started my brand in 2019. In 2021, I ended up catching COVID, me and my daughter, who was 15 at the time, and I literally almost died. So I had to pause my brand, pause everything I was doing. And y'all forgive me, this is very informal. I want to be as real as possible, and as I'm waiting for her to come out of class. Anyway, stay focused, Johnnetta. The only way they saved me is I had two options, and that was either to be vented or to have the antibiotic infusion. We decided to go with the antibiotic infusion, even though it was considered 5 days past the time frame it was supposed to work. We were taking a chance. The doctor was honest with me, and he said, if we vent you, you won't make it. So we went with the antibiotic infusion, and it actually ended up working like maybe 3 or 4 days later. And the reason why I'm sharing this now is because I don't know why. You know how sometimes you get afraid to share what you've been through, and everybody was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God, you're a testimony. What you've been through is a testimony. You don't really realize it's a testimony, I guess, until other people tell you. So after that, my daughter, I say like a month later, that was in June, maybe July, she ended up hitting the floor screaming. Blood was coming out of her back, lower back. Rushed her in. She had to have emergency surgery. She had to be flat on her stomach for 6 months, and I had to do her wound care because she had open wounds down her back. She did her schoolwork online, and let me say this, she never touched a actual campus, high school campus, until the end of her junior year. When we went in for the follow-up with the surgeon, they had said that they took all of the JP drains out of her, but we found out that they didn't, because she was still in pain. And because I used to be a nurse, it's a ladybug on my window, y'all. Anyway, I was in the nursing field. I was able to see the drain was still in there. So we rushed her back in. Drain was still there. Sepsis started spreading to her body. She had to go through another emergency surgery. They removed the drain, reopened her incisions that were still open, and created more incisions. She had to be on her stomach another 6 months. I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what your plan is. I don't know what your purpose is. I don't know what your mission is with this, but I'm going to trust you. So again, open incisions with new open incisions, and I had to do her wound care. All while she was fighting depression because she was at home and wasn't able to go on campus. So she healed up from that. Mind you, this whole time I had lap band surgery back in 2014. My lap band had been slipped at this point for like a year or two. I was never able to get it fixed or get it removed because my mother had to have emergency surgery, and then everything with COVID and my daughter. So mind you, I wasn't able to keep any food down. I was sick myself, but I just asked God to keep me through all of this so I could take care of my daughter. So when we thought we were in the clear with my daughter, she woke up one Sunday morning, not able to see and barely able to speak. Rushed her into urgent care, and they said, get her to the hospital ASAP. Took her to the hospital, which was Methodist. And at that time, Methodist was not treating kids that were under the age of 18. And like I said, at that time, I think she was like 16, 17. But they ended up doing a CT scan because they thought she was having a stroke. Come to find out, she had ventricular hydrocephalus on the brain, swelling of the brain. Where did that come from? There was no way I was going to be able to try to be positive with ladies and encourage everybody when I was dealing with this and my daughter was dealing with that. So we ended up in the hospital for another week. They were trying to put a shunt in her brain. I refused. So they did a spinal tap. Thank God she didn't have to have the shunt. So after that was done, that's when she was able to go back on campus. At this point, we're thinking everything is good. Well, I started aspirating in my sleep because remember, my lap band was still slipped, right? So I had to schedule myself for surgery. My surgeon said, your situation is so dire. Your esophagus is not pushing through even a chive. He said, did you eat something with a chive? And I said, I made chicken salad. He said, I don't want you to eat anything. You need to be on straight liquids for the next month. You see my size, and I'm working on that. So to be on straight liquids for a whole month. Okay. So I did the liquid diet. He also found out I had H. pylori, which I had never heard of before. So I had to be on medication for that. And if you know what that is, that medication is hard on your system. I was nauseous, didn't want to eat. I lost 30 pounds in a month. So prior to going into the surgery, he told me this is going to be a very dangerous surgery because you're aspirating. And we have to move quick because we don't want you to aspirate under anesthesia. So we went in for the surgery. He removed the lap band. And once I was fully awake, he did make me aware that the lap band was twisted so bad that my stomach and liver were kind of fused together. And he had to unfuse them. So after surgery, I had to go another 30 days straight liquids. And soft foods. Let me say this, liquids and soft foods. So that's like liquids, scrambled eggs, mashed potatoes, things of that nature. So at this time, you know, my mom is old school. She's like, put your face on, what happened to your makeup? Girl, I wouldn't think about none of that. I'm not even gonna lie. But I did start my PYP Protect Your Peace brand, which is also my other brand. It's on TikTok. PYP Protect Your Peace. They're both on TikTok. Imaracosmeticz and Protect Your Peace. So I had to make sure I got my daughter. I healed up. Had to get my daughter through school. Had to try to get her through her senior year, which was rough. Because I had bought a car from a buy here, pay here lot, and it was like a lemon. It wasn't like it was. So I reported them to the Better Business Bureau, and they ended up in retaliation taking my car. So we didn't have a car for her prom. My best friend from childhood had to take her to her prom. Didn't have a car for her graduation. My brother's best friend from childhood had to take us to her graduation. I finally got another car, which is the current car I have. I thank Jesus for that. And the dealership that I reported that took my car, they no longer exist. That's how God works. They ended up having to shut down because of all of the complaints. So my daughter is currently going into her sophomore year of college. I'm waiting for her now. She's taking a summer course. She ended up graduating high school with a 3.5 in cum laude after everything she went through. Amazing. I'm super proud of her. So now I'm at the point to where I'm rebranding, but I often get in my head with doubt and fear. I don't know what happened to me. I used to go live all the time on Facebook. I used to go live doing makeup. I used to go live. It was never nothing for me to do my face, promote my brand. And I think what happened is when you go through stuff like that back to back to back to back, like it was literally 5 years in a row of back to back to back to back to back, where I didn't have a chance to breathe. All I could do was pray. It's like now, this is something I'm working on because I want to be completely vulnerable with you all, because I want to be able to help somebody. I went through a heavy stage of depression because as a parent, you see your kid go through it. Money was tough and still tough and tight. And I went through depression. And now I'm at the point to where I'm like, okay, Jesus, I give everything to you. I trust you. And now I'm at the point to where I'm finally ready to rebrand. It doesn't matter what the circumstances show. It doesn't matter, how dim or bleak it may look financially, because I have to get, in the process of getting, making a new eyeshadow palette, everything. But I had to remember my original focus and why. And that's to help women feel good about themselves inside and out. Because you can put on a bunch of makeup, but you can't cover your pain, your hurt, your scars. You can't cover none of that. I mean, you can, but you can still see that something's wrong, something ain't right. So I said all this to say, this is my reintroduction. I know I've been rebranded for a long time, but I ask y'all to keep patience, have patience with me. And I want to thank everybody that's still been supporting me, following me, praying for me and my daughter, and being there for us. It's truly appreciated. Like, y'all don't even know. Thank you for believing, continuing to believe in my brand, Imaracosmeticz, and the PYP Protect Your Peace brand. I feel like this time around, because when I first started, I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know how to properly structure a business, run a business, whatever. So I've been taking time to learn that as well. I've also become even more intentional and even more aligned with God, because I want him to lead me completely through this process. Yes, sometimes I get impatient. I see other people that I started with, their brands have blown up, and I'm sincerely happy for them. But I'm like, okay, Jesus, what if people don't believe in me no more? What if people don't care about my brand no more? Because I've heard that before. I've heard if you don't keep posting, you're not relevant no more. Ain't nobody gonna remember you. Ain't nobody gonna care about you. And I refuse to believe that. So if you've been supporting me since day one, I appreciate it. For my new supporters and those that are coming, because the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. If you build it, they will come. That's another saying. I'm believing in faith, because you got to have faith the size of a mustard seed, but faith without works is what? Dead. So I'm not perfect. I'm not going to say I'm going to post every day, because I do work overnight. But I'm going to make it, I'm more intentional. And I'm going to pray and ask God to lead me on what to post, how to post, whatever. Now, I'm not a perfect Christian. I do listen to rap and whatever the case may be, because that's another testimony, my background. But anyway, I just wanted to give y'all a little update and let y'all know what's going on and what is coming, irregardless of what it may look like, because I donated 50 of my eyeshadow palettes when I first started to a domestic violence women's shelter here in Houston, and I want to do that again. I want to be able to, I look at their list quite often of what they need. I want to be able to, I don't know, eventually make a 501c, become a nonprofit, and be able to donate. Even before then, I want to be able to go to Dollar Tree and buy these women stuff that they need. They don't need much, they're not asking for much. And that's just what I have on my heart to be able to do, but it takes money. And yeah, my bills are skin tight. And sometimes I doubt God, and I shouldn't, because I know he will make a way. So I say that to encourage you today to keep the faith, have the faith, hold the faith, no matter how bleak it may look, no matter what it looks like. Remember that God is working in the background. All right, y'all, I'll be back for some more chat. I may have like a, I don't know, a chat, one chat weekly. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, because I don't really know. And I don't want to say I'm going to do it. I don't do it. I'm just being real. But I'll get back to y'all. Again, thank you. I appreciate you, and have a good day.